friends, my name is Pranav Shukla and I welcome you to my online tutorial. Today we are going for NCERT Standard 10 English. Now today's concern is unit number 7, Glimpses of India, and we are in chapter number 3 from the same unit, that is Tea from Assam. The picture and the name itself is quite suggesting that what we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss world famous, the biggest ever world's tea plantation from Assam, and everything about it. It is not the clearly mentioned information over there, but the talk between two friends have become the medium of getting information about the tea plantation from Assam. So obviously this chapter is about two friends, namely Pranjal and Rajveer, who are traveling to Pranjal's hometown actually, that is in Assam, for the summer vacation. Pranjal's father is a manager of a very famous tree plantation and factory in Assam. So they get the chance to visit this tree plantation, but before reaching over there, in the train journey, they discuss about tea, and especially Rajveer is very curious to know the details about tea. He has also studied and collected the information about tea. So we come to know about details about tea, especially some legends behind the origin of tea, how tea was discovered, who were the first to drink tea, and how tea has become very popular in the world, especially in India, as a beverage. So all these details we are going to know about this from this particular chapter. So here this is a tea garden from Assam. You can see the tea pluckers wearing aprons and that hat over there and plucking tea leaves and putting them in the baskets. Very pleasant atmosphere. One of the pleasantmost sights in the nature is to see the gardens of tea. So you'll see in East India as well as in South India, but tea from Assam and Darjeeling are unparalleled in the world. So let's go for reading it. Now they are in train, Pranjal and Rajveer. So you can just imagine the atmosphere of train. So it started with that, chai garam, chai garam, chai garam, garam chai. A vendor called out in high-pitched voice as they come in the train to have tea. I just feel the thrill of being in the train right now. It's always a pleasant journey. He came up to their window and asked, "Chai Saab?" Pranjal said, "Give us 2 cups." Now they have the chai. They sipped the steaming hot liquid. Almost everyone in their compartment was drinking tea too. It is quite a fashion in train. Whenever chai wala comes, one has to go for having chai. Chai might not be of good quality, the way they make it, but still they have it for enjoyment. It is its own pleasure. Better you enjoy it when you go to destination via train. Now Rajveer said, "Do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world? I feel it is even a less number. 80 crore. This might be drunk even in India." That is a sound of exclamation that suggests something very heavy, something very strange, something very gigantic. Tea really is a very popular. That is exclaimed by Pranjal. The train pulled out to the station. Pranjal buried his nose. Now train gets out of the station and commences its journey ahead. Pranjal is very fond of reading detective books. So he buried his nose. He had become busy in reading the detective book. Rajveer too was an ardent, very strong, very passionate fan of detective stories. But at that moment, he was keener on looking at the beautiful scenery. This is supposed to be done, friends. Pranjal lives in Assam, so he's been through this journey many a time. So this scenery outside might be very common to him. So it's understood that he's lost in reading books. But when you go to such journey for the first time, it is a very rare joy that you get. So better you see the scenery outside instead of being busy in mobile or books or anything else. But at the moment he was keener on looking at the beautiful scenery. It was green, green everywhere. Rajveer had never seen so much greenery before. Then the soft green paddy fields. You have to pass through West Bengal maybe, and it's all about paddy fields. The fields where rice is grown. So they are paddy fields. But now this flat land passes by, and one has to enter in the hilly area. So once you reach to the hilly area, you will definitely see, especially in the East India, the tea bushes. So normally, friends, you've seen tea plants. They are looking very tiny, doll-like. And from the distance, you can see a very clean sweep of green tea plants. It is spread up to the even lands. It is like meadow of grass, but actually they are tiny plants set together. But as a matter of fact, tea is not a tiny plant. It is actually cut to a tiny plant because the leaves are very important. Just to pluck leaves and avoid that unnecessary growth of the tree. They are cut to simply plants, plant size actually. In fact, I can say the oldest and tallest of tea plant is in China, in Yunnan province over there. That is 1700 years old and 100 feet tall. So this is something very strange and very curious for you to know about tea bushes. It was a magnificent view against the background of densely, very thickly situated wooded hills that looks like a sea of tea bushes stretched as far as the eye could see, up to the even land, dwarfing the tiny tea plants. Dwarfing means making them look small. That is called as dwarfing. Making them appear very small in comparison would be called as tiny tea plants are made look very much small against the background of tall, sturdy shade trees, and amidst the orderly rows of bushes, busily moved doll-like figures. They are the tea plants, tea bushes. The reason why they are not called as plants, they are called as tea bushes. This is how they look like. This is this tea plant, tea bush. It is cut to that size, otherwise it can grow up to a bigger height. This is how, and this is what they look like, the ocean sea of bushes over there. In the distance was an ugly building with smoke billowing out of tall chimneys. That is a tea factory where the tea is processed and reached to our houses. If you have just visited Kerala, you will just, especially Munnar or Thakdi, you will find it in abundance, this kind of factory. I visited Tata tea factory. So it is quite interesting process. You better visit over there. So, hey, a tea garden, Rajveer cried excitedly, shouted over there, cried. Pranjal, who had been born and brought up on a plantation, he didn't share the same excitement. It was quite common to him. So he said, just to sum up his excitement, oh, this is a tea country now. Assam has the largest concentration of plantations in the world. you will see enough gardens, plenty of gardens to last you, just to keep it in the mind, just to make you remember it for a long time, lifetime. So Rajveer said, I've been reading as much as I could about tea, collected information about tea. Further he said, no one really knows who discovered tea, but there are many legends, stories which are lacking of proof in historical documentation and any authenticity. It is spread from generation to generations through the mouths of people. Lok Vartao, something like that. Lok Vaikao. What legends? Now there comes one or two couple of legends over there. Well, there is the one about the Chinese emperor who always boiled water before drinking it. Maybe he must be having some problem of constipation. One day, a few leaves of the twigs, small tender leaves of a plant, burning under the pot, fell into the water, giving it a delicious flavor. The smell was, the fragrance was quite nice, and he might have tried it, and he might have liked this taste, and he popularized this particular liquid, that beverage, as tea in the world. It is said that there were tea leaves. Then Pranjal, this legend was quite unauthentic and difficult to, so he scoffed it, he just rejected it to be believed. It was almost scornfully rejected over there. And in the tone of rejection, he said, tell me another, dusri bolo. He now said the another one, that is quite humbug, I can say. It is ridiculous, but it is there. We have an Indian legend too, Bodhidharma, an ancient Buddhist ascetic. Ascetic means sannyasi, means the one who sacrifices all the material pleasure and worldly life, and lives the life of sacrifice, would be called as self-denial, would be called as ascetic. This Bodhidharma cut off his eyelids. Why? Because he felt sleepy during meditations. આપણે ચોટલી બાંધીને વાંચીએ ને, he cut off his eyelids. 10 tea plants grew out of these eyelids. So his eyelids actually turned out to be tea plants. Reason why when we feel sleepy, we go for tea. So actually it is the chemical inside the tea that lets you not to go to sleep. But this is the legend behind it. The leaves of these plants, when put in hot water and drunk, banished, means disallowed the sleep to overpowering. So these are the legends. Tea was first drunk in China, Rajveer added, as far back as 2700 BC, before Christ. Friends, means 4700 years back. In fact, words such as tea, chai, and chini are from Chinese, because even chini, khand, even sugar is also invented by Chinese people. Tea came to Europe only in the 16th century and was drunk more as medicine than as beverage. It was used as medicine, just to heal. But then we started having it as a beverage. Beverage is a kind of liquid that can be drunk without any strong side effects. Would be called as beverage. While the talk was going on, the train clattered into that ringing sound of the wheels and bogies and all that would be called as clattered into Mariani Junction. The boys, now this is where they have to get down from the train. The boys collected their luggage and pushed their way to the crowded platform. Pranjol's parents were waiting for them. They were there to receive them. Soon they were driving towards Bari, that is the tea garden managed by Pranjol's father. An hour later is a very famous tea garden, friends. I would like to inform you. An hour later, the car veered. The sound of turning the car and creating that sound, that is called as veered, sharply off the main road. Now they cross the cattle bridge. This is cattle bridge. And this is gravel road, Kankadpatra road Rastu. And entered the Dekiavari tea estate. On both sides of gravel road were acre upon acre, extended up to some long distance of tea bushes. Acre is a unit of distance measurement of land. All neatly prunned. Prunned means you can say a trim or cut of plant or shrub would be called as pruning, Nindan Garu. The same height. Groups of, say it is written over that it is prunned, otherwise it can grow up to a bigger height. Groups of tea pluckers, as I showed you in the first pictures, with bamboo baskets on their backs, wearing plastic aprons, were plucking the newly sprouted, recently grown in the tender leaves. Pranjal's father slowed down to allow a tractor pulling a trailer load of tea leaves to pass. And when he had seen those leaves over there in the tractor, he had commented that it is a second flush or sprouting period. Isn't it, Mr. Barua, that is Pranjal's father's surname? Rajveer had collected information. According to that information, he had been able to recognize the tea. Teas are of two types, first flush and second flush. Let's have some information about it. First flush has got dry leaf. Color when you prepare into liquid is just a bit yellow. It is a bit green and used normally as green tea, and it is more for healing purpose. The tea we drink, that is second flush, that is dry leaf. First flush has got green leaf. Reason why it's called as green tea. It is quite brownish, the tea that we have, and so the growing period of this tea is February to mid-April. So it is first growth of these leaves after the winter sleep. It is also called as winter flush or Easter flush, I can say. Very costly, very tender leaves, delicate taste. Most antioxidants are there in the first flush, and it doesn't last for a long time. So Darjeeling's first flush tea is very popular worldwide. Second flush is actually grown in May and June. It has got mature leaves, rounded one. It is fruity, flavored, and so the main difference is the time, the process, and the flavor. So we usually have second flush tea with us. It lasts from May to July and gives the best tea. You seem to have done your homework before coming. Homework karke aaye ho, you just collected enough information about tea. That is, friends, it is my advice personally. When you go to visit any place, especially on tour, better you collect information about the places, culture, tradition, cuisine, everything about, so that you will be enjoying and understanding the place and the people over there. It would be worthy enough to go there. Pranjal's father said in surprise, "Yes, Mr. Barua," Rajveer admitted, "but I hope to learn more, much more while I am here." So this is all about tea from Assam. You enjoyed the illustrations and explanation given by me. I'm going to share you the question answers. We'll soon meet for the next chapter. Thank you very much.